my next one is really about frameworks, because I was watching and we're going to link a lot of these resources to our viewers in the podcast, all the descriptions. And I was watching this great webinar that you had done with Pranova, just about CBD, about CBD 3.0. And there was this, even eponymously, we're calling it CBD 3.0, but the idea of the hype cycle, the Gartner, the classic, like we're in the valley of despair, or we're in the hype, or on the hype train. And so we're at this point now where I think we're seeing it. Like when my mother asks me, like, have you ever heard of this stuff? I'm like, okay, so it's getting into her news cycle. So then we're like really at the forefront of this about to take off. Like we're not at early adopter, we're past early adopter. I'm curious about, not necessarily, you can please do share whatever you want, but not necessarily perspective on like the market, but more so on that tools like that as a framework. When you're speaking with, now you're spending, companies are spending millions of dollars on process equipment, and we're trying to find the like tangible frameworks within which we can say, here's where we think we are. We're shaking a magic 8-ball, sure, because that's what executives do. We're living 4 quarters in the future, 5 quarters in the future, but here's where we think we are. So something like the hype cycle, useful? Has it gotten traction? Do you like technical readiness level instead? Please.
Yeah, so certainly that Gardner curve is one that we reference a lot, because we're at the birth of an industry that is constantly evolving, and we've seen it happen in the last few years at an incredible pace. And so, that kind of trough that you get into when there's just this absolute explosion of products coming to market, but those products having a very wide variance in their levels of quality and efficacy,
Right.
and without a real focus on innovation. You would look at walls of products that were all very much identical to one another. There was no real points of distinction or difference, or real consideration of how you were trying to solve the various problems that cannabinoids can solve for, be it for alternatives for treating anxiety, or helping with sleep, or helping with pain. And, it's really about getting into that plateau of productivity, as we call it, which we think we are, climbing up that curve right now.
And we're getting there.
We're getting there. We really are, with, the brands that are in the market today that are still surviving and thriving, because they have paid such close attention to detail when it comes to understanding their customer and what their needs are. And then at the same time, seeing new players come into the market that are just jumping in with that approach, that are taking a very data-driven approach to understanding the market, really doing the research. So the tools that we use as well is, really doing a lot of investment on the research side, and that research on the industry and consumer level, to understand what are those barriers to entry. If someone hasn't tried a CBD product yet, why haven't you tried it? And what would get you to try it? And those, data points being everything from price point to dosage to understanding how it can serve those particular need states. So one of the kind of areas that you've seen a lot of evolution in is going away from this approach that, CBD is for everything. This is a product that can, take it for
silver bullet.
Silver bullet. You take this one tincture and it's going to do it all.
Right.
And that was, a confusing message on several levels.
Right.
And so to now see that start to be segmented out and saying, okay, here's a tincture or a gummy formula that is going to help you sleep, or here is a, product that is going to give you energy for your day, and really being very thoughtful about how they come to market, and having done that research. And so we have a framework as well when it comes to innovation development, which really starts with both reviewing and analyzing research in the market, conducting a lot of research ourselves, and doing surveys and speaking to consumers, and really learning from all of that to really infuse that into what we invest in from a product development standpoint, and from technology advancements that we invest in to enhance our products, be it with Pranova and their water-soluble technology,
which is amazing
too. Botanicals and their flowable powder technology. It's like, how can you take even an ingredient and make it better? And that's going to play a really big role in making your formulas better. So it really just informs everything that we do. And taking that approach has been incredibly helpful.
And that just the difference in ingredient, whatever the media is, that's one where the difference between the right word and the wrong word, think culinary applications is like, do I want an oil? Do I want a powder? Those react so differently. And it seems simple. It seems like almost like silly simple that is like, of course, a baker wants this versus that. But from a process development and from an efficacy in the actual formulation standpoint, incredibly challenging. Like we're not just like making olive oil here. Like this is incredibly challenging to preserve what makes the any of the CBD products you make special. I'm curious because it sounds like you have fueled so much of this, the moat, so to speak, of this company of OBX with just incredibly deep rooted knowledge. And I know it's not your responsibility as far as education goes, kind of as far as who you're servicing with these products, but then they have to do that to their customers. So they have to then share, on the packaging or on the labels or whatever the formulations are, why it matters. And I'm curious about that defense. Like that's customer education is part, it's brand defense for like what makes OBX special. But how do you combat fake products without calling them out specifically?
Yeah, and what we really focus on is, and we're very fortunate to work with a beautiful roster of clients that are very like-minded
Yeah.
when it comes to the level of quality and the level of innovation that they want to invest in. And so, when it comes to, how we approach that is, really, seeing education as one of our core responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
as a company. And you can see that in, the content that we publish on our website, on our social channels, on YouTube, through video content we create
Yeah.
to really add to the body of knowledge that's out there. And that body of knowledge can serve the industry as a whole. It certainly serves and helps our clients, and it even helps consumers to gain that understanding that once you're able to truly understand how cannabinoids work, how does the endocannabinoid system work, that people can really start to, take that knowledge in and ask the right questions when they're buying a product, or ask the
Absolutely.
right question when they're making a product, right? So it's not necessarily about, calling out the bad actors or who's not
Sure.
doing it
Sure.
right, but instead, we like to celebrate the ones that are doing it right.
And shine bright, like continue to shine bright.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's really going to be what, takes this industry to the next level, is having the products out there that work.
Right.
And the products that work are the ones that are going to win, and the ones that are why we exist. We as an organization all share the true belief that this plant holds so much power
Right.
and promise and potential, and being able to unlock that potential and celebrate that potential in the products that we make, and then giving those to the brands that are going to go out there and tell those stories and connect with those consumers and really serve those needs, is why we exist.